Kia ora, tēnā koe.
Tēnā koe.
At the risk of cutting across my colleague who was right in the middle of his stride, making some very salient points on this particular bill, I apologise for cutting you off at the fence. But look, I want to follow on from the very good points that were made by my colleague. But firstly, I want to acknowledge Alistair Scott. I'm sure the trustees of Papawai and Kaikokirikiri Trust will be very happy with what we've been able to support on their behalf. Just to think, since 1943, this trust has been funding by way of scholarship young people from their area to pursue education. And, you know, a lot has to be said about the investment in education. When these submitters came to the Select Committee, all women, all very humble about their contribution to the aspirations of their iwi, but absolutely singly focused on ensuring that they were better prepared as as trustees to make those types of decisions that will equip their children with a better education to be able to contribute back to the iwi. I listened carefully to the contribution around the dual translation of the bill, and just to anchor some of the contributions here today, which were well responded to by our Chair Nut Korako and the member Peter Praone. This request came from within the committee. It wasn't a request made by the submitters on the bill. And the committee had thought, well, this is a small enough bill to be able to test as a Māori Affairs Select Committee. Could we go through the process from beginning to end in terms of a dual translation of a bill that was very small? Well, that was our thought. The responses that we got from advisors have already been expressed, but I'd like to make the point that Reno Tirikatene had really started to draw on, is that if Parliament really wants to pursue the process of dual translation, then when the government is setting the legislative agenda, it will need to take account of that when it funds Parliamentary Council Office for this purpose, because by their own admission, they do not have the capacity to be able to respond to a request of that nature, although the Māori Affairs Select Committee sees itself as pushing on that aspiration because we recognise Māori as a national language for our country. So that's the context by which we address this issue with this particular bill. We didn't achieve the outcome. To some extent, we identified that the 1943 and then the 1992 rewrite of this particular bill might make that whole process a bit more clunky than we had anticipated, and so we left it in abeyance. Coming back to the preamble, and you know, the expression of how the bill could be better modernised, I think it's quite evident in the first instance. The recognition of the Bishop of Te Upoko o Te Ika gives recognition to the modernising of the Anglican Church and the diocese and the Treaty of Waitangi model that they have, but also the closer relationship that they have with Māori. That indeed will flow through the bill. Then the other aspects of that are the nomination process for board members. It's well explained in the bill that under the old process you had the diocese involved, you had the Māori Land Court involved, and then you had the Minister, not of Māori Development but of Education involved. The opportunity that the revamp now provides is a more localised input from Wairarapa, tangata whenua of Wairarapa, to be involved in that. And I think that is in line and in keeping with the evolution of aspiration of the Papawai and Kaikokirikiri Trust. I know I haven't got much longer. I didn't intend to take a very long call, but I would like the member in the chair, the sponsoring member, to explain why Clearville isn't a part of the title, and also why the approach was to enable Clearville lands to be sold, but not Papawai and Kaikokirikiri Trust. By way of explanation to the House, I think that would be a very useful exercise, and it will be something that people will draw on, because in the title of the bill it does not refer to Clearville, which is an estate administered under this particular trust. Kia ora tātou.